the Toyota transponder key TOY44G. Let me give you all the information that you need to know so when you're out doing work, you have the confidence and the knowledge that you need to get the job done. So when it comes to the newer Toyota transponder keys, you'll notice that there's one thing in common. They all start with TOY44. All right, so there's really three keys right now like that. There's the TOY44D, the TOY44G, and then the TOY44H. All right, so I'm gonna put a link to the other ones as they come out in the notes below, so you can make sure you check those out as well. All right, and I want to talk about really quick how you can identify the three of them against each other. The TOY44D is going to have a little dot or like a dimple mark on the blade right next to the head of the key. The TOY44G is actually going to have a little G engraved on the blade, and the TOY44H is going to have a H engraved. So that's how you're going to know the differences. Now, is what you're gonna come to realize here as I go through this is that the only thing different about those three keys I just talked about is the actual chip. Everything else is exactly the same. Now when it comes to the makes and models on these keys, all right, so Toyota started using this chip in 2010 and actually used it all the way up until about 2018, all right? So there's a long stretch there for this G chip. And as you'll know when you start looking at all the different makes, models, and years, they kind of, the D, the G, and the H all have overlapping years, all right? So it's really important that you take a look at your cross-reference material to make sure that you're gonna be programming and cutting the right one. So on the TOY44G, the chip used is the Texas Instruments 4D-72G chip. All right, and it is reusable, meaning if it was programmed to one vehicle, you could harvest that chip out, take it out, you could put it into a new shell and program it to a different vehicle. When it comes to the test key, you're gonna wanna use the TR47, also known as the X217, all right? Now, like I was saying, all of these TOY44 keys and even the TOY43, AT4, the one before these, all use this same keyway. Not only that, the TR47 even goes back even further on just metal-headed keys, all right? So it's super important that you always have a good stock on the TR47 key. Now, as far as the chipless key goes, I always recommend the JM8 chipless shells. They're my favorite. And the part number is a TP00-TOY-15.P. Now, as far as the code series goes, it's going to be the same as the other ones, which is the 50,000 to 69,999. Now, when it comes to key duplication, this is a very, very important one to not only get very comfortable with, but to master, all right? So I'm gonna show a quick clip on how to duplicate it, as well as make sure if you do struggle with it, okay, it's okay. I mean, if you struggle with cutting this one, you struggle with it. You're gonna wanna make sure that you get the adapter that you can use that will make those problems go away. Of course, I'll put a link in the notes below. All right, now, so here's, the TOY44D. You can see the little dimple right there. But since we're just having fun here, I'm going to just use a TR47 key that I'm going to be duplicating, okay? So I have a TOY44D, right here that we'll get to cutting. Now let's talk about securing this key into the jaw, right? Now, your standard practice, a standard thing you're gonna think is, well, we'll put it in right here on the groove and like that, and then we'll go ahead and take this tip stop here, we'll get that put in, we'll get it aligned. And that's typically, the first, thought when it comes to actually aligning these keys, which is all fine and dandy, right? I mean, side A or side 1 is really all you ever have to use for the most part for these keys. And you can do it just like this. And as you can see, unlike the NI04 key that we were talking about, this actually has a decent amount of meat right here at the end that you can grip onto. But if you're a little nervous about that, depending on the cuts, you can always, right, just slide it all the way up, tip stop it at the end, and that's going to give you that extra security as far as, you know, material to grab on to the key. Now, I do want to talk about, if you have two-way jaws, you don't have four-way jaws, you only have a two-way jaw, something that happens a lot is the keys start flying out, right? And so Ilco actually makes these adapters. I'll put a link to the notes below, and you get these two little tiny pieces right here. And let me see if I can get the camera to pick up what they look like. Hopefully you can see that good. There's like a little ridge right here, and essentially is what this ridge is for, is to put it on one side of the keyway here, just like this. So it's sitting actually in that keyway groove. Now, when I turn it over like this, what you can see is it essentially flattens it all out on the other side there. So is what you do is you put it in face down, and instead of putting it on the groove, you actually just put it all the way into the machine like this. Okay, so if we get it in like that, we can get our tip stop put in here. We do that, and then just push it all the way in. Now, as you can see, cutting it like this, I mean, that's essentially, you know, the bulletproof way to do it. You're gonna be able to go through, not have a problem. So if you struggle with these, or you know, you want to just use the adapters, they are available. They're pretty inexpensive, and I'll put a link so you can buy them from us, no problem. So let me go ahead and pull that back out. So there's one for each side, right? So we'd put one on this key, and then on the key we were gonna duplicate, we would put the other one. Now, I'm going to just set those aside here, and let's just cut it without those, right? Because, I mean, although the shims adapters help a lot, let's get real world here and cut this key together. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to cut it just the standard way here. And I want to just go over once again, if you haven't watched too many of my key cutting videos, I'll go over a technique that just by doing it the standard way, just like this, you'll be able to cut it without a problem. So let me go ahead and get this TR47 put in, just like that. We can get to cutting. All right, so what we're gonna do is something I call the shaving technique. So I'm not gonna hit each one all the way down. I'm gonna shave it. I'm gonna just kind of shave halfway through, then come back and get it again, and then cut it normally. So that's something you can do if you wanna just use this type of setup. So let's go ahead and turn it on and get to work. So I'm just gonna bring it in here. I'm just gonna go about halfway. So I'm going about halfway on that. Of course, I'm only going to go down to about right here. You never want to hit the tip. I'm going to come back through and just kind of play clean up a little bit there. And then I'm going to do one more time just to keep it good. So by using that shaving technique and doing it this way, really ensures that you're not going to have any problems. Okay, so let me flip this key around. We'll go ahead and put the tip stop back in. We'll get it aligned. Let's go ahead and cut the other side here. Okay, see I did the same thing there. I'm just gonna bring it back gently. Now I'm gonna go through and do it the way I normally would on a key that's not as secure. Now the main reason I'm doing it this way is because I really want you to understand how you can do it with a two-sided jaw or on A, and how you can do it, you know, with relative ease. So there you have it. That's how you can cut the TOI 44D, or really any TR47 key on side A or side 1 without the adapters, even though they're available. All right, and there you have it. All the information that you need to know about the Toyota transponder key TOI 44G. You're gonna wanna make sure you get familiar with the D, the G, and the H to make sure that when your customers are calling, you know exactly what key you need and what to do. Thank you for watching, and I'd love to know your comments in the notes below. Make sure you download the free PDF cheat sheet that we've made that covers all of the information that we went over in this video. And last but not least, make sure that when you do comment, you include the hashtag LockBoss. That way you'll get automatically entered in to win one of 5 free prizes that we give away, no purchase necessary, every Tuesday on YouTube. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Hey, this is PJ with Sealkit Supplies. No, I miss saying that actually, I think maybe. No. Don't put that in the video, dude. Oh my gosh. Connor, man. Let me give you the facts that you need to know to make sure you have confidence out in the field to get the job done. That's a little goofy, maybe. I want you to have TOI 44. See here. TOI 44G.